Okay.
Okay, I heard the beeps. Let's see if it comes. You're live now, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I heard the beeps.
It says live here.
Okay.
You're live. We are building an audience for you. Finish. I ended it.
Oh, you ended it. Okay.
Is that?
So you can. Yeah, then maybe you have to start again.
Are you sure? You are live, he says. We are building an audience for you. You
Okay.
don't see anything?
No, I see it. I see it now. So I just. There is a little lag. Yes. I see it. I see it.
Okay, here we are.
Perfect. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to US. For everyone else who is listening to this, Christina has been to. Krishna has been to India for a couple of weeks, helping, guiding, encouraging, giving life to many, many people there. And she's back with us, helping us understand life, understand so many things, and live our life happily. Okay. Okay, so theme of our conversation has always went around love.
Mm-hmm.
Love, how to get love, what is right in love, what's wrong in love, what's love, Maybe because love is so important for us, human beings.
I think so. Some people say it is the stuff that makes the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so with that, let's see, one of the articles that you sent me during this week was from this book, the 5 Keys of Mindful Loving by David Rico.
Mm-hmm.
The book is How to Be an Adult in Relationships, and the 5 A's of love. Talk about these 5 A's of love. Attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, allowance. Let's talk one by one on this. So this is, how am I reading this? How am I reading this? I'm trying to understand love and see how to nurture love, and this is how we can nurture love. Is that how I'm reading this?
Yeah, what Chitanananda does, it's has gave me that those fives and talked about it in indoor in the workshop, and to me it's a way to measure what how do we give and receive love, because we sometimes people say, oh, but I love him so much, but then the husband doesn't feel loved. One person may think I love my husband, and then you talk to the husband and says, well, I don't feel it. So what is happening? And the opposite way around, right? So this is kind of the behaviors of love.
Right.
So that you could measure and you could tangibly see how does that translate into daily life.
Right. Okay. That's yeah. That's nice. Now I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Love is it's a subtle feeling. It doesn't have anything real to it. These are the things that make real to it.
Exactly. People misunderstand it because love for one person may be a sexual feeling, and love for another, a mother, it's a totally different feeling of protection. And so people are feeling 100 different things, but when they communicate, those things may not mean the same thing for each other.
Right. Okay. Okay. So when you sent me this, the first one that caught my attention, the first first day was attention. Attention means engaged focus on you, sensitive to your needs and feelings. In loving attention, you are noticing, not scrutinizing. Attention is not possible if we assume certain feelings are right and wrong. If we missed it, we may attend to ourselves. Okay, so let's spend a little time. This is very interesting and setting up the groundwork for, what is love. So, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So first step of this is, you said, attention. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Okay, so attention is a very powerful, it's a powerful tool we humans have. And whatever you give attention grows. So out of everything in the world on our daily life, where do you put your attention is a very interesting question. During the day, what do you give attention to? Do you give attention to your inner thoughts or your body or other people or the trees? At any point in life, where is your attention? So in loving relationships, where is your attention? Do you give attention? How much attention without judgment or interpretation you give the person in your relationships, in your household, your intimate relationships? So that is one measure of your love. How much attention do you give? For example, with mothers, the babies need a lot of attention. Without that attention, they will die or will have a lot of emotional problems, right? So attention is being interested and joyful in the other person, in how the person feels, what the person does, how the person looks, what is their well-being, what do they need. That's attention.
So if I am not giving attention to someone, I can't force myself to give it, right?
I think you can.
You can?
Well, I do.
So my interest is somewhere. I force my interest to go somewhere else,
Well, I have, I'm always doing that in a way. Like, for example, my 2 grandchildren came last night, and I was very interested in the news about the March of Women.
Yeah.
My interest was, I want to see how many women and the march and whatever. And then I thought, in the moment, I said, but these kids are here, right? Where do I want my attention to be? So we all looking at the computer or the TV instead of each other. So I forced my interest and my attention on my 2 grandkids.
Yeah.
So I find it very possible, just because you're interested in whatever, you could bring your attention to something else. You have that one. I think one has that power. And if you don't have that power, then you have to learn how to find that power of harnessing. I think that's what controlling your mind means. I can actually put my interest and joy and attention wherever I want. Not whatever the attention goes to.
That's a fundamental question I always had. I was thinking of discussing this with Gary. So On other hand, you say that we got to follow our affect, not control our affect, right?
Well,
Follow,
okay.
right?
I'm
So my
following my affect, and I have interest in the march, and also I have interest in my grandkids, right?
yes,
And so I'm not.
yes,
I don't feel I'm controlling it in the sense of, oh, you cannot feel interest in the march. I mean, hopefully I will. Is postponing my interest
yeah, yeah, yeah.
more than controlling it. I could always look at the news today or Google it when I have time. Show me marches, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Or maybe by today I'm not even interested anymore.
So some interest exists. You have interest in kids. You have interest in news. Just figuring out the timings of it, and now you put your attention on kids, on grandkids, and that's how you show your love. That's how you take your
Yeah,
worship.
what is my commitment? And it comes back to where is my commitment? Where do I really choose to put my attention as a human? Mm? And definitely it is my grandchildren,
Okay.
at least for that particular time
Mm.
in mind.
And then it said something interesting. Really interesting was that if we assume certain feelings are right and wrong, then we cannot be attentive. Attention is not possible if we assume certain feelings are right and wrong. Then we keep projecting and then we cannot give attention. Right?
Well, you can give attention, but it's not going to be optimal attention. You can give attention with interest and joy or with judgment.
Right.
Or for example, the grandchild, I have a judgment that he's a bad kid. And I give attention to that. Look at what a bad kid he is.
Right. Yes.
So when I do that, I am projecting an image onto him, and I do not see him really.
Yeah.
So this is projection. And when we make judgments, we project our own memories onto somebody. And then what happens? You don't see the other person is really not seen. So the attention with projections doesn't do anything except have more distance between people, seems to me.
Right. That's not even attention on the real person. That's attention on your own projection.
On your own projection.
Yeah. Right.
And unfortunately, that's what most of us live, from one projection to another.
Yeah. Okay. So then we talk about, so that's the second A. So first A was attention, and the second A was the acceptance. Tied up probably, right? Says we are received respectfully with all our feelings, choices, personal traits, and support through them. This makes us feel safe about knowing and giving ourselves to others. Our ability to be intimate grows with how safe we feel. Safety based upon how authentically we are accepted in our life, otherwise we feel ashamed or inadequate. Accept children, parents must be free of preconceived plan or agendas for them. You are embraced as worthy, not compared with others, but trusted, empowered, understood, and fully approved of as you are in your uniqueness. Okay. It's really tied up with the same point that you said. Looking at the other person without projection, fully accepting their feeling, their choices, their traits. That's what is love. That decides the quality.
That's what, yeah. And that's a hard one too, for at least for me, or for some of us,
Yeah.
to fully beginning to fully accept ourselves, to be able to be ourselves in front of somebody, right? And to be able to accept others
Yes.
the way they are, without adding or subtracting or judging it.
Yeah. This is like, to me, the word comes to me, that's what really means the broad-minded. He's a broad-minded person. His container is so big that he can accept other persons as they are. Right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's one aspect of love.
Yeah. And then comes in the complication of, say, for me, it's easy to accept other men because I'm man and I know what's going in me, and possibly that's what is going in them, and I can relate to them, I can accept them. But with the opposite sex, now I have lesser insight into what's going on inside them, and so it becomes difficult to accept them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Today this example came in my life, where me and my wife were talking about someone, and this person, and I talked to you about this topic before. This man married, and he says he doesn't hate his wife. He's okay with his wife. He says I'm not like way interested. It's not like extreme. When we are together, we have fun and all, but I accept her and I'm okay with her. But he goes on business trips and finds himself in paid sex. And he was exploring, what's going on with me when I do that. Am I not loyal to my wife and all? And then, anyway, the topic came to my mind was, when I heard about it, I was, the thing was still accept him fully and see, it's a need. It's a bubble that came in, and it's a need which the person is trying to fulfill. Right?
Exactly. That's the way I see it too.
Yes. Yeah.
You can accept your wife as she is, but she may not fulfill certain needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can accept people as they are, but it's another thing to say that they meet my needs.
Yes. I can accept person as they are, but that does not mean they meet my needs, and I might have other needs, and there's an outlet for other needs. Right?
Exactly.
All those, right, can happen. Right?
Well, the moment somebody in the couple, whether the man or the woman, has room for somebody else, he meets a need is not being met.
Yeah.
Because if it was met, that wouldn't happen.
Yes. And also now, just to validate it once more, I've heard plenty of times that one person cannot fulfill all needs of another person.
I don't think so. I mean, it's almost impossible for even parents cannot fulfill all the needs of kids. It's very difficult. As much as you could try, I don't know. Maybe they are. I'm not saying they aren't, exceptional couples, but if they are, they are in the minority. But also it is possible that in a very mature human being, a person, I can see this scenario, that a married couple that's very mature in themselves can fulfill many of their needs. and don't need the other person to fulfill all of their needs. Does that make sense? So then you have a nice balance of giving and taking.
And then and if they cannot fulfill the other person's need, they still accept it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's possible. You accept them as they are, with their limitations. And then you have needs that, the needs of intimacy might not be fulfilled with that person.
Yeah.
And maybe those needs are also temporary.
Yeah.
Until you get to fulfilling needs of self-intimacy, which is another thing.
Sometimes when I talk to you, I get this sense which is very, very uncomfortable sort of sense, that all relationships are really false. We are trying to do is fulfill our needs and really use the other persons as baits.
Well, you got it. If you look at the world, it's all about, are you fulfilling my needs? If not, but look at, even if you look at the dramas of people, it's all about that. Oh, you cheated on me, right? Like a couple of months ago, a woman came and said, my husband had an affair with another man, or with another woman. And what do I do? What do I do? And I said, if you love him, you leave him alone. This other woman is giving him something you can't. She couldn't take that answer. Right?
Yeah. But what's uncomfortable in me is, does the love really exist? Are there couples where you say, yes, I love you, and you have that space? That too exists, right? That's love, really.
I think so. I think there are couples that, I think is a grade. I met a couple of couples in my life that actually get along fine. And they seem to enjoy each other. That's something that I've seen. Like once, they actually look at each other with respect, enjoyment, and they enjoy each other's company. Now that's interesting. And I've seen, and this couple one of them was my theater teacher and his wife. She didn't have to come to class, but she came to class, and they're like 80 years old, and they spent 60 years married, and you could see how much enjoyment they have with each other. So it's possible.
So that's a level above fulfilling our needs.
Exactly.
Level above, right? Yes. Get out of this, my need and this and that, and get to the interest and have fun.
Exactly. Because I think if you are at the level of fulfilling needs, when you don't fulfill my needs, I throw you away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it comes to the level that the fulfillment of your needs need to be dealt with yourself and come to a level of maturity that there is enjoyment in each other's company. And is interest and enjoyment together. because I've seen couples who actually enjoy each other.
Okay.
They hang out in, who knows? If you go to ballroom dancing clubs, there's many couples that love to dance together.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I cannot throw myself at that spot. The key is here, attention, acceptance, and let's go to the next A, that's appreciation. Gives depth to acceptance. I admire you, I delight in you, I prize you, I respect you, I appreciate you as unique. Gives self-confidence. Also includes gratitude for any kindness or gift we might receive. Expecting a thank you is not selfish, but wish that the transaction be completed in a normal way. But I can't do that artificially, right? Or sometimes I've seen couples, I got to love, hold on, what do I do? Okay, gift, let's do the gift.
No, you need to really find a true thing in appreciation. And when we are busy in our daily lives, we forget to say, gee, I really appreciate this person is alive, right? And comes and it's cooking dinner for me. Simple things.
Yeah.
We seem to take people for granted.
Yeah.
And when they die or they disappear from our life, we wonder, oh my God, I really did not appreciate them. And then you go to the funerals and it's a big appreciation after they're dead. I want my appreciation when I'm here, like I got in Indoor. In the theater for doing nothing.
Yes. Yeah. So finding that appreciation, which is comes with attention, right? That's the first step, is attention. And then we are a little more present, a little more here, not somewhere out there. So when we are here, then we see the person, we accept the person, and then we appreciate the person, right?
Yeah. And it could be a very simple things like a smile, or a touch in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad you're here. It doesn't have to be a speech. But it's an inner appreciation that this person is here with me.
Okay. And then anyone listening online, any comments, just post it. We'll talk about that. And we keep moving. Affection, attention, acceptance, appreciation, and then comes affection. To give or receive love is our primary need. An affectionate touch or hug from someone who really loves us can penetrate our bodies and restore our souls. This was such a remote idea to me.
Well, you have children. You have children, so you know affection.
Yeah. I mean, a time in my life, it was, anything to do with love, anything to do with feelings was, I felt it's for crazy people. It's not
well, I mean, there is a verse in the Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti's prayer. I think it's Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 42. Why do I know that? Because I love that, what Prabhupada says in that purport. Says, affection is a symptom of life. Imagine that. It's a symptom of life. You see it in the trees, you see it in nature, you see it in the animals. You see it in it's almost like it's wired into us.
Yeah.
Affection. Without affection, we couldn't have children, they'll die.
Yeah.
So it's a symptom. And if we don't have it, it's because something got stuck somewhere.
Hmm.
Hmm?
No, I was talking about my teenage years, or
Oh.
teenage, maybe, yeah. That time I had this idea that all you need is sex.
Oh well, because you are a boy teenager.
Yeah. And
That-
love is a tool to get sex. It's need to,
Well,
it exists in this world.
I think you're representative of most men.
Yeah. So, and this idea that a hug can penetrate you and hug can, touch your soul or something. Come on.
So now you're not a teenager. How do you see that now?
How do I see that now? Yes, I can somewhat relate to that. Somewhat, when I hug my son,
Ah.
daughter. Yes, I have feelings. But still not as much as sometimes I read about.
Well, but you could start wherever it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't judge it too much as long as you have affection.
Yeah. No, acceptance is a big thing for me. When I feel accepted, and then I feel a surge of happiness. Like my wife
course.
has taken so many steps in accepting me, and the more she felt, then she accepted me, the more I started loving her.
There you go. It works like that.
Yeah.
It is fascinating because I think this is in this society, look at that. If you look at parents and children, we're all telling our children, don't do this, don't do that. And children grow up feeling, kind of torture in a way because they're not accepted as fully as they could as themselves. So already from youth, we are hungry for somebody to say, I love you just as you are.
Yeah.
And how hard is it for us to do that?
Yeah.
And that's the maturity that it connects with what you were asking to begin with about our needs being met. The more your wife met her own needs, the more she can see you. The more she could appreciate the way you are.
Yeah.
And the less she needed for you to fulfill her needs. Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what did she get at the end? More love from you. So the more we try to fulfill our needs, what I have seen as a counselor is then you're very hungry emotionally. Huh? And when you're very hungry, usually people who are very mature and fulfilled won't look at you too much, because then you suck energy and everything out of people.
Right.
So it's a vicious circle.
And can you elaborate that? This is very interesting. So,
I can go to people with a hungry hand. Give me, fulfill my needs, right? The focus is always on myself. So the other person may start fulfilling needs, but after a while there is an imbalance of this. And another thing is to go with somebody with your hands full, actually needing very little from the other person, and instead of going with a hungry hand, you go with a desire with plenty to give. I have acceptance, I have attention, I have allowance, I meet my own needs, I know how to laugh, I need how to enjoy myself. Huh?
Yeah. But what if I don't have it, right? If I am feeling empty?
Well, then you're going to suffer. And the people that come to you may fulfill you for a while, but then either they get tired of you or they will use you. Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah.
For their own benefit because you're hungry. So, okay, that person is hungry, give me your money or whatever else. Is the cheated and the cheating people.
Right.
It's a contract.
Yeah, we talked about it in one of the videos, one of the beginning videos. We looked at one constellation, and there was a dynamic. Let me see if I can get to my question. The question where it was coming was acceptance and need. So if I am approaching the other person from a needy place because I'm so empty, I cannot, that's the question, I cannot push myself to do anything, right? That's where I am. What do I do? That's where I am.
Okay, yeah. First you have to, I guess the first symptom is to be aware that you are empty.
Yeah.
So the first thing is to wake up from the trance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And maybe if you're lucky, you had very many bad experiences that will shake you up enough to say there's something wrong here, right? Why am I doing this all the time and getting in trouble all the time and my needs are never met? So if you have a question and you're lucky enough to search for somebody who can help you, or at least, usually when the student is ready, the master appears, they say. So somebody will come or an event will happen that will help you along.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's almost like you need to wake up and actually see what are you doing, and the dynamics that it's almost waking up from a sleep trance. Hmm?
Yeah.
And that requires a lot because the waking up is painful because we have a self-image that says we are so wonderful. So to look at yourself empty is no fun, but it's very necessary. Otherwise, you won't go to the other level.
Yes, I'll carry this sentence of you that when the student is ready, a teacher appears.
Yeah, and a teacher can appear in many forms. You never know. An article in the paper, or a book, or a real person, or a workshop, or a massage therapy. I don't know. Something happens. I think the universe is waiting for our first move. But something will happen that will give you the opportunity to go to another level of awareness.
Okay, so we talked about attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and then we come to allowing. That's interesting. The fifth one is allowing. In a good enough holding environment in early life, I learned that it is safe to be myself, knowing and showing my deepest needs and wishes. If it was never safe to be ourselves, if we had to conceal what we were, we may not really believe in our talents, pursues now. Trying to live in accord with the needs and wishes of others is like being a child swan and trying to become a duck just because because you live in a duck pond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mirroring freedom. Yeah. So this idea about it's coming from acceptance only. It's just another reflection of acceptance. Is allowing, like the way you were saying about that women whose husband was in an affair, and you said you accept it and you allow him if you really love him.
Yeah.
So that kind of freedom in love, right?
If there is no freedom, there is no love. It implies freedom.
Right. There was some sentence you used, I heard from you before. Love doesn't bind, love frees. The real love does not.
Real love is not, I want something from you. But I love you as you are and I wish you well. Even if it means you're not going to be with me.
Yeah. Plenty of songs I can remember on this topic. But, yeah.
And you see that a lot in a parent to child love, which requires that as parents or grandparents we step back, right?
Yeah.
We are not requiring the kid to be taking care of us. But at every step, we take one step back and they take one step towards more freedom.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's like one example. And we could transfer that especially to friendship and to, couple relationships. Because what is love but to wish the best for the other person? And maybe the best for the other person is to go away from you. Or to have another person.
That opens up another topic which I want to have a separate conversation with you on.
Okay.
And let me just introduce the topic, would be accepting, and specifically thinking of my son in teenage years. And how would I accept him in those teenage years when he has his hormones running? And what would be acceptance? What would be no controlling, but what would still be guiding him, showing him the right path?
Yeah.
All this.
Yeah. And you could do all of that while accepting, allowing, and setting limits, right?
Yeah.
If he can feel the 5 A's, you can guide him.
Okay. Attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing. All right.
So we'll talk about that next time.
Yes, we'll talk about that next time. Thank you so much for your time. Everyone
Thank you so much.
Continue to be on every Sunday at 11 o'clock now.
Okay, my dear. Good to see
All
you
right.
and everybody who's listening.
Yep.
Bye.